Hey, what's up, guys? I am Brian from Whisper Status 74. Welcome to the channel. Today we're going to talk about the Vizio Quantum P-Series X, the Quantum M-Series, the TCL, and the Hisense. Actually, what we're really going to talk about is where to buy them. And probably the one drawback to these displays has nothing to do with them themselves. So lately on the channel, we've talked about some of the higher end Samsungs, the Sonys, and the LGs. And the move towards 8K, and it's making a lot of you and a lot of myself included wanting to step back and do more of a bang for the buck thought process to try and head that way to stay with 4K and to get high-end performance for low-end cost. The Quantum P series kind of launched on the scene, made a lot of noise. Its biggest drawback was its availability, and that's what I want to talk about today. And one glaring drawback to all of these displays is the availability and where to buy them. So that's going to be the topic of it today. Now, back to what I said just a second ago was a lot of us are looking for a better warranty as well. Best Buy, Amazon, they do have aftermarket warranties. Best Buy has the Geek Squad. The challenge with the Geek Squad is the more money you spend, the more expensive it gets. So when I did the video on the Samsung 900R, that TV retails for about $8,000, $7,500, at least it did a few weeks ago. The Geek Squad warranty, and that's about $800. Now, some of you are saying, well, if I have that kind of money to buy a TV, an extra $800, what's the big deal? Well, if you add the $800 plus the couple hundred in tax, it's another $1,000. And that doesn't really always fit into our budget. And the warranties, at least years ago, sometimes were half the price of the TVs themselves. They've gotten more reasonable. The best part about the Geek Squad and some of the other warranties is in a few years, if the TV breaks down, they'll either try to repair it or replace it with a corresponding model. This year, that would be difficult because Samsung's models don't correspond. A Q70R is not the same as a Q8FN, so you might have problems with that. But that's not really what the video is about. So like many of you, I'm very excited for the Quantum P Series X, as well as the M Series Quantum releasing, hopefully this summer. It's high-end specs. If they even approve upon the Quantum P Series, that is Q9FN quality specs for a very, very low price. The Quantum P Series now is an absolute steal. I mean, absolute steal. And I was talking to Michelle Alexandria, shout out to Michelle, who was thinking about the Quantum P Series, and she's coming from an OLED. And the attraction to it for her and for myself is high performance at a low price. She brought up a good point, though. Can't find them anywhere. Now, you can find them online, and I know a lot of us are very used to buying displays online. Here's one challenge. We do like to see them. I just started buying sneakers online. I do like to try them on. Displays, I do still want to see their picture quality, even though showrooms are difficult in terms of their demos. Demos really are full screen. They don't show a lot, but I will tell you, sometimes I can see a demo and see a very flat image and not be blown away. I do want to see those displays in-house if I possibly can. So Quantum P Series' big problem was availability. They sold out very, very quickly. There were some defective models. I know a lot of you in the channel were talking about them. The challenge was getting them replaced. Now, we all know the defects are out there with all the companies. I don't think Vizio is worse than any others. I do think there is a bit of a not a prejudice, but a bias towards those lower brands. That's not what this video is about either. But the most attractive retailer for me, I want to go back really quick to Best Buy. Why Best Buy has become unattractive is that as defects have gone up, they have put in a policy where you can't return more than 4. Now, I understand that in regards to you trying to return a TV that doesn't fit your needs. What I mean is you don't really like it. It's not really something that agrees with you. That's you changing your mind. That's different. There's a restocking fee that goes with that. And I understand the company or the manufacturer don't want to take a loss on you changing your mind. You buying a TV and wanting to go up in size, that's not a defect. That's the fact that you didn't plan properly and you changed your mind. You should pay a restocking fee for that. But returning defective TVs, one of you guys in the comments, I can't think of who it is now, has actually gone back to 1080p. They had 5 or 6 displays, dead pixels, and being told time and time again that, you know, hey, this is the way they are. He just recently went back to 1080p and just gave up. And I don't blame him. But what's keeping me from a Best Buy is if I do get into that situation where I have a couple defective displays, I'm going to pull my money right out of there. Amazon's a bit better with that, especially depending on how much money you spend. If you go over $2,000 with Best Buy, you'll deal with their concierge kind of service. I dealt with them. And if you have a family with 2 Amazon accounts, make sure you use the account that spends the most money. They do look at your payment history, and that will help you. Their warranties are, I think, $400. It all depends on how much money you spend. The higher it goes, the more you spend. The problem is your budget might be right there. What I mean by that is $100 or $200 might keep you from getting your dream TV. I can't really afford to tack on another $400. If I could do, this is my thought process. If I could do $400 more, then I would get that other display. And it just goes on and on and on. And we all have a budget. If you're not dealing with a budget, you don't really care about a warranty because you can afford to just let it break, I guess. What brings me to this video is Costco. Costco to me is not always the same as BJ's and Sam's Club. It really has, their warranty is $100 for anything over $1,000, which is really nothing for that. So it's blanketed. If you go over $1,000 for your display, it's $100. Under that, it's $50 and it's $25. They'll repair it. They'll replace it. I don't want to say it's no questions asked. I'm sure there is some trying to fix it, having the manufacturer come out. But either way, you're pretty covered. So as I was thinking about this and the Quantum P-Series X, which is what intrigues me, is it's a no-brainer, right? Why not just buy it? I'll be buying a 75-inch. If it doesn't work well, I'll send it back. I'll have it repaired, whatever. And then it dawned on me, and this actually gave me pause, and I want to pass this on to you. Really quickly, a lot of you guys, and even myself, you think there are a lot of options out there in terms of displays. When you walk into a Best Buy, you walk into a showroom, especially a Sam's Club, you really think there are so many displays to choose from. And I hate to tell you, there actually isn't many to choose from. When you get into that mid-tier, then up. Okay, we're going to use the current, we'll use last year. So use the Q6FN for Samsung, Q7, Q8, Q9. That sounds like a lot. Well, let's just say that you have that, then you have the Sony 900F, you have the Z9F. We're getting into 1, 2, 3 models. Then you only have so many manufacturers. If you're going to stay with Sony, Samsung, LG, that's 3. And when I went through my defective displays, especially if you're going to go large at 75 inches, there's only 1 or 2 choices. As those displays became defected, I had nowhere to go but up. As I went up, it got worse. Then there was nowhere to go but down. But my point is, when you get into that mid to high, where a lot of you guys are, there are very few options. So when things start getting defective, we need as many options as we possibly can find. Now with Samsung, when you're going into the NU series and the Sony's 800 series, yeah, there is more variety, but now you're compromising a little bit of HDR. The color gamute's not as high. So my point being is if you're in that higher end or mid to high end, there's not a lot up there. What brings me to Costco is, let's just give you a scenario. Let's just say I purchased the Vizio Quantum P-Series X, and I get it, and it's defective. Now I have the warranty. I'm all set, right? What happens if I don't like it? So I don't like it. I get a couple of them. I hope this doesn't happen. I send them back, and they say, well, cool, you have a $3,000 credit with us. What else would you like? Here's the problem. There is nothing else I'd like from that store. Do this for me if you guys have time. Go to your local BJ's or your local Sam's Club or your local, even your Walmarts. Go to those stores for me, and then I want you to walk around and tell me what displays catch your eye. Not the ones on the website, the ones in the store, and then tell me what you find in the comments. For me, there is one Quantum P-Series available in terms of I can see it in Norwalk, Connecticut. I live in Connecticut. There's 4 or 5 Costco's around. It's the one store that has it. Every other display in that store, other than an OLED, I wouldn't buy. Personally, for me, I wouldn't buy. I just wouldn't. It's just not, it doesn't beat what I have already now. So my point being is that if I commit to Costco, I'm very limited in my options of what to buy other than that Vizio Quantum P Series. So hypothetically, I go in, I get the P Series X. Maybe I don't like it. With a Best Buy, I could segue over to a Q90R, Q900. I could go with Sony Z9G. There's kind of a lot of options, or not a lot, but there's many more. And Amazon, same thing. I can say, okay, well, you know what? Let me go look at last year's Q8FN. Now, looking at their website at Costco, you're not going to be able to really see it here. There's a P Quantum series there. It's actually flanked by very, I'm not going to say they're low-end TVs, but they're not at the same level. So let's just hit one randomly. Okay, so this LG is in the same row, but it's not even in the same universe in terms of quality. This Samsung that I'm just tapping on randomly, which is in the same category as it comes up, says it's a QLED. Okay, so here we go, 65-inch QLED. It is a QN65QDRAFXZA. Now, is that a Q6FN? Now, also with Costco's and Walmart's, they do have special part numbers that don't always correspond with what you see in the store. But I don't see anywhere on their website any Q8FNs, Q9FNs, anything that would actually compare to the Quantum XP series in terms of its spec. So what I'm trying to say to you guys is if you're going to go that route and go with Costco, just be very mindful there's not a lot of options if that display doesn't work out for you. They're also not available, to Michelle's point, to see. If I go in, I start getting into this, any of these Samsungs that are here, not a single one of them would I purchase. Now, not because they're bad. Now, please don't take it that way. That's not what I mean. What I'm trying to say is if you're going into a Costco looking for a high-end Vizio Quantum P Series X, that means that your tastes are more in line with the flagship displays of the big three. Going into Costco, I'm just trying to tell you that there is only 2 or 3 options that are in the high end. Right now, it's an OLED. It's a Quantum P Series that's existing. And I think there's a TCL that's available here. I don't see any QLED displays that are the QLEDs that we know. I know there's a lower end QLED, but remember guys, we're looking at the Quantum P series for its color gamut, for its peak brightness, for its HDR, for its Dolby Vision. If these displays don't work out, if these Quantums don't work out for us, we're going to be left with nothing to choose from. If I went into Walmart right now, there's not one display in that store that I would purchase. Not because they're bad, but they don't compare to my TV from a couple of years ago. So when you go into these stores, that's probably the biggest drawback. The biggest drawback is there isn't the variety if something goes wrong. Now, the Quantum P Series X hasn't launched yet, and if it has specs that are even a little bit better than the Quantum P Series of 2018, it's going to be a win. I just want you to be mindful that, or keep in mind on the website of Costco or BJ's, really go through their displays and see what else might be there as a fallback, because you might get stuck. Those warranties are not money-back warranties. They're replacements. So that's really kind of the point of this video about doing your research. Now, the research on these websites is very difficult simply because they don't have corresponding part numbers. They don't have, I remember when my plasma was for sale at one of these, it wasn't an ST, it was like an SB. Well, there's no reviews for an SB. So they have their own special, you can't get reviews for those TVs. So you need to find out what a QN65QDRA is. Is that a mid? I don't know what that is. That doesn't go with any of the ones that we know. They typically only have 3 or 4 displays in that tier. They don't have them at these stores. Some of them don't even carry Sony if you like Sony. So just be mindful if you're going to go there and look for the Quantum P Series X. Do I think there's a risk? I think the Quantum P series is going to be awesome. I think the Quantum M series is going to be awesome. But just keep in mind, though, if those displays don't work out for you, there aren't many other options, and I need you guys to really think about that. Because when we talk about dealing with a faulty Q90 or Q9FN Samsung, you guys can say to me, well, what do you think of this one, this one, this one, and this one? And then together we can go through those and say, I don't know, Samsung has a different look, Sony has a different color, here and there. There is no options in that same universe. So for me, I just saw that they have a 77-inch OLED in Costco. But if I'm buying a brand new highest end Quantum P Series X, and I say, well, hey, it didn't work out, let me get the 77-inch OLED, that's not a new OLED. That's last year's OLED. That's a dumbed down version OLED. I'm not sure if it's the highest spec. So what I'm trying to say is the Quantum P Series is a higher taste. It's a higher end. There aren't any others there that can match it in terms of its higher end. So my point is, if you commit to Costco, it's an all or nothing thing in terms of getting your money back. So my advice to you is go on the website of BJ's, wherever you plan on buying it, Walmart, and really go through their displays and start to find secondary and third options just in case that display doesn't work out. Now, if it's defective, but you like it, hopefully you'll get it replaced and it'll be fine. But after a certain amount of defects that I have had, I was done because that defect was inherent to that panel. My KS9000 had terrible flash lighting. They all did. I had 3 of them. They were going to keep sending me KS9000s. I don't want the same TV anymore. I was tired of it. So I went into the Sony line. If the Vizio Quantum P series is not something that you like, there isn't going to be a lot to choose from. So I just want you guys to think about that. Think about that's the one drawback to Vizio as a whole, or even TCL, or even Hisense, is where are they on the showroom? So when this Vizio Quantum M comes out, which is also going to be a great model, where the hell is it? I want to see it. I want to touch it. I want to look at it. I want to see the demos. Now, I know there's politics in these stores, guys, by the way. They have to rent the space. They have to buy it. Vizio, in my opinion, that's their biggest flaw. They moved into the Best Buys in the 2016. They're not on Amazon, which is a huge drawback. But having them in these Costco's, they're not even available in Walmart's in terms of, the D series, the E series, those are available. But I want to see these high-end ones, and they're just not there. So what I'm saying to you is just, you're not going to be able to really have that variety that you're used to. Now, the variety in Best Buy is also a little bit of an illusion. When you walk into a Best Buy, do this for me as well. You're going to see the kiosk for their wall space. What you're going to see is Samsung, LG, Sony, and then you're going to see a bunch of other random displays all around you. A lot of times behind you, you'll see like an 82-inch Samsung. You're going to look at that and go, wow, what is that? You have no idea that that's not even a Q9FN or a Q8FN. That's a Q9 from the year before. They don't say 2017 on them. That is on you to do that research. A lot of them are all mixed together. They just throw them on the wall. So it looks like there's more options than there really is. And that's kind of the problem. Walking through a Walmart, we have no idea when those displays are. What's the corresponding year? What are their strengths? It says here QLED. That's all it says in its specs. Q dot, quantum dot, that's their specs. Not what we're used to in this higher end or mid-higher end market. So just know when you go to a place like a Costco, I do encourage going there. The warranties are incredible. They cannot be beat. Just know that that store does sell tires and detergent and groceries, and they have a butcher shop. They're not really big on giving you a ton of specs or anything like that. You're going to be kind of on your own as far as delineating what the part numbers are. The salesman there, I have hit them up and said, well, what do you think about this one? Or when is the Quantum X coming in? They're looking at me like, look, man, I just got done loading a bunch of lettuce in the back. Like, what can I do for you? Not that there's a lot of expertise in the other retailers, but there's just none there in terms of, hey, which other one do you recommend? That's why we have each other. Share in the comments what your Costco or BJ's or Sam's Club experience has been. Same with Walmart. And do me that favor. Go into those places. I want you to look around the displays for me. Go down the aisles and really do say to yourself, wow, there's so many options. Then start to read the comments, not the comments, I'm sorry. Start to read the tickets and their specs. You're going to find a lot of them don't have a wide color gamut. Some will say they have HDR, but they don't have the color gamut to give it to you. They don't get bright enough. These are very, very important things if you're going to enjoy HDR at its best. Now, we talk about HDR and things need to be bright. They do need to be bright. They do need to have the wide color gamut. Some of these lower brands don't have it. So again, do me that favor. Go look around, see what you think. Look on the websites. Tell me the variety you find. But that's just the caution I can give you. If you do decide to go with a Costco, very little variety if that display does not work out for you. I'm Brian from Whisper Status 74. Please let me know what you think in the comments and what your experience with Costco has been and the other wholesale retailers as well. And if you're looking forward to the Quantum P-Series X, the Hisense, the TCLs, but just know there's not a lot of fallback variety with that high-end display. A lot of it is below mid after that. And what will you be happy with if those displays don't work out? What will you go to if that Quantum P-Series doesn't pan out? Are you going to be happy with an NU Samsung? So let me know what you think in the comments, guys. Thank you as always, and I will talk to you soon. Take care.